Can you talk more about how you moved into kindness and self-compassion?
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day. I noticed there's something that I used to do that I haven't done for a long time. When I would feel that shame that you just mentioned, wanting to hide, is I would, this is even going back to high school, I would do this up through like last year, is I would literally hide under a blanket on my couch. And it was like the safest space. And it was like, I couldn't even look at my own apartment. I couldn't be in my own space. I wanted to like not exist. And we called it turtling, which is like a name that makes it sound like more fun than it was, I think, in retrospect. And
Yeah.
every time I did that, every time I hid under a blanket to try to like just hide from everything, I would feel worse. It never helped me feel better. And then I would really hate myself for how I felt, and for it was just like be a whole spiral on its own of like, why can't I feel better, and why am I feeling like this? So I think that actually the going back to noticing and then working through to a place where I was able to name the feelings that I was having, that was like the really big first step. And then the part that took real practice and work was being able to say, okay, I'm this is an OCD moment. I am feeling over responsibility. I'm feeling really guilty because of a sense of over responsibility. And then the really important part was saying like, and that's okay. And I said it a lot, I think, to myself without really believing it. And I think it took a long time and a lot of crying in therapy to get to a place where I accepted that I, like you were saying before, also was deserving of kindness and compassion. But it took, I had to say it out loud, I think, a lot of times before I could eventually get on the road to believing it.
And what specifically was about that phrase, and that's okay, that helped you accept it?
Because it's something that I would say to somebody else. It's the kind of kindness I would extend to somebody else, I think, and it naming it and saying it out loud, it doesn't trivialize is the wrong word, but it just made it just like threw it into perspective, like what I was having was a feeling, and that people have feelings and it's okay to have feelings. It just wasn't something that I believed for a really long time, but I think actually like saying it out loud, helped put it in perspective for me. It made it seem like less of a big deal.
It sounds like it was really painful when you were turtling all those years.
Yeah.
And do you still feel pain when you look back on it? Like, how do you feel now about it?
I feel, it's painful, but I think this was another big switch. For a while, it did feel really painful because I felt like I had wasted a lot of time. But I also like rationally know that I was still doing a lot. And I'm still proud of what I did, despite the fact that every weekend I would come home and turtle. I love that we're just using this. We've accepted this as a term.
Yeah.
I would come home and turtle, but I was still, building relationships and building a career and enjoying my life as well simultaneously. It's not like it's all gray area. It's not like there was like a black and a white, like, part of my life. So yeah, it's painful, but I also, the other part that I haven't, I think, mentioned yet was I talked about noticing and naming things. But being able to frame them in a positive light is the other part of this. And so that's another thing that we worked on, which is being able to say, not just that like, ooh, this is a feeling I'm having and that's okay, but recognizing that moment as a learning experience or like a chance to practice, and framing that as like, aha, like, here's that chance to practice again. And I might not behave in a way that like is perfect. That's also that's an OCD thing right there, but it might not behave in a way that's perfect, but that's okay too. Like, you know, I'm having this feeling, it's a chance to practice. The feeling that I'm having is okay because it's a chance to practice. And I'll be able to look back on it positively because of that. And when I think about turtling, even the fact now that I can look back on it and understand what I was feeling and really be glad that haven't done that in a while, that itself is like a way to frame it more positively and think about it as a learning experience as well.